one of the most important aspects, like Will just said, of like always going this way is am I spelling that right? Yeah. It all comes back to these things. And how many salespeople do you guys know that go up 1 month and down 1 month and up 1 month and down 1 month and up 1 month and down 1 month that are committed, disciplined, and have high levels of skill? Nobody. Do you see what I mean? You see Kobe Bryant going up 1 month, down 1 month. 1 month he's scoring 30 points a game, the next month he's scoring 5. Anybody see that? No, because he's committed, he's disciplined, extremely disciplined, and has high skill level. Look at Marco. You see up months and down months? No, because of these 3 things. When you don't have those things, or you have a little bit of each, you can go up and you can go down, okay? It's one of the big, it always ties back to those 3 things. All right, so today, or right now, we're gonna work on this stage of the sales process. Okay, so connecting gives us kind of like them being curious enough to keep going, to want to engage, to want to open up. Situation questions, we're helping them find out what their situation is. We're helping them find out what their situation is, not just us. And this is where the sale is made emotionally in their minds, okay? So how do we create a gap from where they are compared to where they want to be? The first part of that is problem awareness questions and solution awareness. Tomorrow we'll talk about all this. We're not going to talk about that till tomorrow, okay? So how do we get them open? How do we get them disarmed enough? Okay, the ABDs, like Road has said. I like that. Always be disarming. How do we get them disarmed? How do we get them to disarm enough where they will actually tell us what their real problems are? How many times have you been on with a prospect and you feel that they're not really telling you what's going on? Okay? That's because more than likely they're right here. They're in flight mode. They don't want to open up to you because there's something, we didn't disarm them well enough in the beginning to trigger them to feel like they could engage with us or want to engage with us or want to open up with us, because they feel like if they do, that what could happen? They could get sold. Nobody wants to be sold. See what's going on? So selling is all about change, but human beings don't like change. I want you to think about that for a second. Selling is all about change, but human beings don't like change, even though some people say they do. Why do people not like change deep down inside? Scared. It's unknown. It's unknown. We don't know what's on the other side. You're just promising them of something better in the future. But before they get that, they have to do what? They have to change. And they don't know if what you're promising is really true or not. Okay, so think about it. Selling is all about change. Deep down inside the core of human beings, we don't like change. Makes us feel unsettled, uncomfortable, okay? Especially if it's initiated by what? Pushy salespeople that they feel like are trying to sell them. That's when it gets really tough for you as salespeople, okay? So think about that for a second. All sales is change, but human beings don't like change. Sometimes we become, what I say, comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's where a lot of your prospects end, because they want to change. They say they want to change, but at the very end, because we don't know how to disarm them, we don't know how to get them to open up, they become comfortable with being uncomfortable. So selling is all about change. Human beings don't like change. So we have to continually disarm them where they feel comfortable enough to open up to us. Once they become open, do you see how I was like doing this with him and I was just like talking like this? There's a reason. I'm trying to help him feel comfortable enough to open up to me. That's why. Okay? So problem awareness questions, we're helping them see, here's where they are, situation questions. Okay? We're going to find out where they want to be. They might have said a little bit about what they want connecting, but that's just all surface level stuff. None of that's really that true. And then solution awareness questions, we're going to help them see what their future is going to look like once all the problems are solved. But in problem awareness, in the first part of solution awareness, we have to help create a gap in their mind. We can't tell them what their problems are, because when we tell them, well, what happens? In one ear, out the other, right? Because it's coming from you. But when your questions allow them to tell themselves, well, then it's the gospel, right? It's true. It's what the preacher told me, right? So it's them telling themselves why they have to change, okay? So opens the emotional door to finding out what their problems are. So here's the difference between good salespeople, great salespeople, and then the legends, okay? Like somebody like Marco, okay? The difference is good salespeople are able to help them find out what their problems are. Great salespeople are able to help them see the root cause of how the problem happened. The best salespeople are able to do all those two things, but be able to help them see how it's affecting them personally. Let me go through that again. Good salespeople are able to help them find out what their problems are. Great salespeople are able to help them find out what their problems are, but also help them see what's causing the problem, or the root cause. The very best salespeople are able to help them see what their problems are, what's causing the problems, but most importantly, how the problems are affecting them. So go back to the real estate agent, like Shane. So go back to the real estate agent that can't brand himself or herself, okay? That's the problem. What's the root cause? What's the root cause? Yeah. What's the root cause? Okay. How is that affecting them, though? Okay, so what? So what? They can't scale their company. How does it affect them? Go deeper than that. Oh, let's have a microphone for Shane. Sorry. Can we pass the microphone to him? I apologize. So how is it affecting them personally?
Yeah, they feel stuck, right? So they feel stuck with, where they're at with their time with their family, or their inability to keep people in their organization.
Okay, sure. So they can't brand themselves. They don't get listings. If they don't get listings, that leads to what?
Well, less clients.
Less clients leads to what?
At home from their life.
More stress at home.
Yeah.
Okay. Less clients, less money, more stress at home. What does that lead? If they have all those things, what does that lead to?
Well, there's health issues.
Health issues. What does that lead to?
Ultimately, death of no business. So.
Death of their business, possibly death of them. Yeah. Heart attacks, strokes. No, I'm serious. Yeah. This is real life stuff. Like, we have to get them to feel how it's affecting them, the problem, like much deeper than just the surface of like, oh, it's affecting me because I'm not getting enough listings. So what? If they don't have enough listings, what does that lead to? Less money. So what? If they don't have money, what does that lead to? Can't pay for their kids to go to college. See how it impacts? Like it goes much deeper than just the surface level. And that's the difference between good salespeople who can just find out what their problems are, between great salespeople who can also find out what's causing the problem, and then the very best salespeople can do all three of those. Question?
Like when you say going deeper, I know we talk about over-probing, where you like over-probe too much. So, like
it's about probing in the right areas. But go ahead.
Like, how are you able to obviously not as down as much as like death, but like get deep enough? Like best salespeople get deep enough without probing too much, or how do you?
It just depends on where they're probing. I see a lot of salespeople, especially in the inner circle, they like probe randomly. Has anybody ever seen that's inner circle? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Tell me.
Well, it's just like they start probing on stuff that has no bearing for the rest of the conversation. Or doesn't
Yeah, like what caused you to do that?
Yeah, what caused you to open a gym?
Yeah.
That was a perfect example. I probe, but not a good one.
Yeah. Okay, good. Somebody else back here raised their hand. Did I see somebody's hand raised? No? Will, were you going to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, they'll just go to the first problem that they hear, and then it's just going to go to that one. Is that everything?
Yeah, right. It's too soon. It's too soon a lot of the times, and they
Yes.
don't know really what they're looking for. Okay, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna pull up a couple scripts because there's a reason why we have a rationale question there, because that's there to find out what really is going on. Because usually the first problem they told you is not really the real problem. It's just like a surface level problem, most of the time. So realize when you're finding out what the real problems are and they tell you what their first problem is, 90% of the time, that's just the surface problem. You cannot take that on face value, otherwise you're dead most of the time, okay? Because most people are not going to be disarmed enough to just open up to you in 2 minutes and tell you what all their real problems are and how it's affecting them. They're just not. They don't trust you yet, okay? You haven't earned the right yet. Okay, so let's role play.